Hello? Gosh, she's only just started really filming now. Nice to have everybody with us. And you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Today we're talking to Scotty. Yeah, coming from the band Stillwater Junction and absolutely loving it. Coming out of North Carolina. And believe me, there's so much talent coming out of there. Tell you what, let's kick it off. Starting off with It's Only Illegal here at Stillwater Junction right here at Galaxy. Sorry about that, bro. I wasn't going to sit there for another 7 minutes and hold you up.
You're good.
Very cool. Coming up next is One Light Town. So what we'll do is we'll go live to the desk after this. And thank you for your patience in allowing me to welcome everybody on board. In fact, nice to have everybody on board. It really, really is. And I tell you what, why not sub, thumb, and click? You know, why not become part of the family? You know, subscribe, like us a lot, and you know what to do with the rest. Yeah, absolutely. Got staff taking photos of you all over the place right now. So, you know, poke tongues. You know.
Oh, cool.
Oh, look at that. You know, I like his beard.
What's he smoking?
I don't know. What are you smoking? Is it illegal?
It is legal.
Oh. Oh.
Might have to have one of those myself later. Really might. I know somebody would be smiling at that idea. Literally. Bro, I'm very, very honoured to meet you, sir.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
And I've got to warn you, though, I've got a voice in my head. No, I seriously do.
That's fine. I have about 4.
Well, no, I seriously do, Scotty, because if you see me making a funny body gesture this way, it's because my on-air producer is literally talking to me at the same time, you know, so... And I've got to be nice. Now, women love this idea. I don't know why, but they really do. They love the idea that I have a female that has a voice in my head that legally can get away with it because she's also my wife. Cherry on top, she gets paid to do it too. Literally.
Hey, there you go. There you go. That makes it even better.
Well, as I say, she's my wife, so I've got to be nice, right? Otherwise, she might throw somebody heavy at me.
That is true. Or you might have to start smelling and having somebody taste your food and drinks that she hands you.
Well, this is true too. There's good Go and put your headphones back on. At your station, please, ma'am. I need some stats. She'll give me stats and bits of information, questions from other people that are listening on other media right now,
okay.
If you know what I mean. So that's why she's always talking to me, because believe me, it's a very, very busy line that she has for me. It is. Anyway,
understandable.
we'll pick up bits and pieces throughout the conversation and carry it through. And believe me, I think sometimes you might actually find yourself having a bit of a laugh there. I do like to throw a bit of humour in as well. Okay?
That's perfectly fine.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today, absolutely elated, I really, really am, because we're meeting up with Scotty Willard, coming out of the band Stillwater Junction, of course, out of North Carolina. Welcome to Galaxy, Scotty.
Thank you, Grant. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, it is an absolute honour, sir, it really, really is, and I tell you what, I want to congratulate Curtain Call Records as well. They promote you like no other people could promote you. They really, really do a good job. So well done to those guys as well. Now, Scotty, you've only been really together for about 4 years now, and absolutely fantastic. But I got to ask you, how did you come up with the name Stillwater Junction?
Actually, it's got a short backstory. First got together, like we was going through over a bunch of names. A few of the band members were like, well, you know, why use your name like Scotty would, you know, the Rudfuckers or you know, whatever. And I'm like, I don't want my name being the band name. If we're going to be a band, we're going to be a band. So we're going to have a band name. Because I didn't really want one single person in the band out. I wanted, because we're all in this together, so we all need a collection. And so Stillwater, actually, way back in the Prohibition times, they had many different slang words for the illegal liquor, and you know, moonshine, white lightning, and one of their words that they used was Stillwater, because it's begins as water in a still and then it becomes liquor. So that's where Stillwater come from. And then the junction part is a meeting spot. When you get to a junction, it's a meeting spot where everyone comes to receive goods. So that's where Stillwater Junction actually came about. Our fans been happy to don the name as our Junction Junkies, because we're, in their eyes, we are dealing them the drug of their choice, which is music.
You know, I absolutely love that. I really, really do. And hope you don't mind, I'm fast becoming a junction junkie myself. I really, really am. At the same time, here's something you may be interested in. Are you familiar with the TV show Moonshiners?
I am.
We're very friendly with a number of the people who participate on that particular show.
Nice.
Yeah, we really are. Also, having said that, some friends of ours out of North Carolina, we've got a number of friends out of North Carolina. One lady, now I know you're familiar with the Josie Awards. Well, you might be familiar with this lady. She's won about 13 Josie Awards, maybe 14, 15 by now. Believe me, absolute country queen here at Galaxy. She really, really is. We were discussing a particular song that she was commissioned to play in for Popcorn Sutton. And I said to her, you know, that's fantastic. Have you ever tried any of his recipes? She goes, I'll send you some. And I went, seriously, you know, some original Popcorn Sutton recipe? And she goes, absolutely, absolutely. So what do you know, a number of weeks later, I'm receiving this flask, literally, and I'm talking to her. We're doing a bit of an interview and unwrapping the present that she had sent me. It was a care package, you know, t-shirt and cap and stuff like that, and this particular flask. And she goes, there it is, there's your recipe. And I went, absolutely fantastic. So I whipped out a shot glass, filled it up. She goes, hold on, I'll just go to the freezer, go and get some. And I went, well, hold on, freezer. And she goes, oh yeah, it's got to be cold. Now I've already got a shot glass full, and I'm thinking, very uncouth to try and get it back into this hip flasky thing, you know what I mean? So what do you do? She rocks on back, and she's got herself a mason jar, right? And she's popping the lid on that, and she's going, cheers. And I'm sitting there with this measly little shot glass compared to what she's drinking, and she's swigging back, you know, good stuff. I fired this back, mate. I got tore up from the floor up.
Oh, I bet you did.
Mate, that made my toenails curl. It really, really did. And as the staff here can attest to, I was just a basket case for the rest of the day. You know, find me a place to lie down. Literally, I'd never tried it before, but that was an experience. It really was. So, got to say hi to our very good friend who sent me that as well. Nice, really, really nice. Anyway, my friend, loving your work right now. I really, really am. Now, I was saying to you that I hear music every day, literally. Barbara gets about 200 submissions a day. So it's not easy, literally, either getting played and or getting an interview here at Galaxy. It really isn't. It's quite a hard job, especially with the volume coming in. Having said that, we only play the best in the world, best indie artists in the world, and you've ticked every box, literally. It's gone past the board has approved it, and believe me, they're only, their thing is, it's image, it's got to fit our image and stuff like that, which I think is rather weird, because then they let me do this. I got the perfect... Yeah, I got the perfect face for our image for sure. I really do. So, at the meantime, I've been an engineer for about 40 plus years, been a DJ for about the same, and I've not only worked as a front of house, but also studio engineer. And as I say, every now and again, something stands out for me, and I want to know more. So, Scotty, North Carolina, Stillwater Junction, you've been together now for about 4 years. Where do you see the band in another 4 years?
Well, hopefully we'll be headlining one of our many tours that we'll have other bands opening up for us. 4 years, we should have at least 4 albums released by then, because we're working on our next EP right now. We're going back into the studio in this month, and it'll be 5-song EP, and then we're going to finish that album out. Hopefully it'll be released the end of this year or beginning of next year. So hopefully we'll be 3 or 4 albums in. We'll be on multiple tours with other musicians. Full-time musician, living the life.
I want to talk to you after we do this, because I might have a couple of ideas for you, if you know what I mean, and I would like to be able to pass you on to another medium which we now are partnered with, literally, that will be able to promote you better than we can here at Galaxy. And believe me, we're in every English-speaking country in the world, and some that aren't, Scotty, and I don't know how that works, but believe me, I'll take it anyway. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Having said that, though, one light town, I can relate to that. We have one traffic light in this town. Literally. I'm not kidding you. I come from the biggest city in the country, literally. Everybody here that works here literally comes from Auckland. And we all migrated down here because I decided that I wanted to open up my own radio station. I stole all the staff. They all came with me. And, well, for economic purposes, we found the perfect little town with the perfect little building. We bought the building, and, well, what do you know? We become an international icon and sensation around the world. We really have. Having said that, though, we initially started out as an experiment for not only our government, but for Australia as well, because they wanted to look into the feasibility. Literally, I don't know whether you're young enough to remember AM, and then we moved from AM into FM.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Okay, now they're looking at, is it feasible to move away from FM altogether and get into the internet? You know what I mean? So we're not only an FM station, which basically we're up and down Bay of Plenty, which is really nice. It really is. There's quite a few miles there and lots of expense with repeater stations. But we're on the internet in every country in the world, which is fantastic. And I think that's even better than just being on FM, you know what I mean? So my big vote is literally go internet. That's the way to go. It really, really is. And, you know, something else, we're a real radio station. We're not a podcast. We're not. And believe me, and I don't mind saying this to you, Scotty, I tell everybody that does a podcast, the reason why we're not a podcast is, well, frankly, I'm better than you and you know it. There you go. But One Light Town. Scotty, tell me all about this. I absolutely love this track.
That's actually the second song we released with an individual named Zachary Hubbard as the co-writer. He is a vet, and he deals with this, like he deals and battles with his PTSD, and how he is able to manage it is he loves music. He can't play an instrument, he can't sing, but he's great at writing. So it's the second song he's brought to us that we have together and released, and it basically tells everyone's story that has grown a rural out town, living like it's the small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody's drama. It's just, it's the small town where there's not much to do, but there's a lot that you can get into.
I'm fully there with you. I really am. Joined today by Scotty Willard too, by the way, from the band Stillwater Junction. Here it is, One Light Town. Gosh, it's hot in here. It really is quite hot. It's only 20 degrees outside now. Should have waited and I would have convinced everybody.
It is 76 degrees here.
64 if you're converting it to. But, Scott, I've got to be honest.
4 degrees there, and it's 76 here.
64 here, but add another 20 because we're in here with computers and it's damned hot. It gets.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We can be up around about 100, 110 in the summertime, and then add another 20, and believe me, it's uncomfortable. And we have a thing called Kiwi air conditioning here, where our air conditioning is just basically open the damn window. Scotty, I ask everybody this, I really, really do, because I'm trying to come to the bottom of a myth, okay? And for 11 years I've been chasing this myth, I really have. So I'm just wondering, you're not a vegan by any chance, are you?
Vegan? No, I'm not.
So you're a meatologist like me?
That's correct.
Okay. Question. Have you ever tried a vegan sausage?
I have not.
Yeah. You see, I'm trying to figure out if they're made of real vegans or not.
Well, I mean...
There's a possibility, there really is. I was just upset when I found out that Girl Guide biscuits weren't made of real Girl Guides, you know what I mean? True story. I was doing an interview with one of the hierarchy of a company called Johnson & Johnson. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. I knew that I was going to be doing this interview, so I sent Sarah, my receptionist, down to the supermarket to go and get me a bottle just to use as a prop, right? And we're going through this interview, and I picked up the bottle. I says, oh, yeah, we have it here in New Zealand. And he lit up, big smile. Yes, you do. That's really, really cool. And I says, so my question to you is, says baby oil, right? He goes, yes. And I says, so how many babies goes in it? The conversation suddenly went dead. The line went dead. This is 7 years on now, and they still haven't returned my calls. I don't know. Maybe they don't like me.
Well, some people just don't have a great sense of humor.
Exactly. I only asked the question. Gosh, really. Traveling Band is up next, my bro. It really, really is. And believe me, our fans, we don't actually call them fans or an army or anything like that. We actually call them the noise, simply because they get hold of us. They're not shy about asking for a particular artist in a particular track. You know what I mean? So we collate all of that in the morning. About 1:30 in the morning, I take a little USB device that has noise written on it, because my receptionist puts all of that onto the USB and hands it to me to hand to production at strange hours of the morning. That goes into our computer, it does all its wonderful things, and then comes out, and that's what our breakfast show is every morning, if you know what I mean. Goes through everything, puts it all together. I'm seeing Stillwater Junction there more and more and more, you know, so obviously the fans are relating to your music. They really are.
Well, that's great to hear.
Do have a question for you though. Next time you're in a recording studio or near a recordable 58, how would you like to do me some voice drops saying, hi, this is, you know, Scotty from blah, 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 and we would love to be able to promote you by adding it.
Oh yeah, I can do that for you. We should be hitting the studio for finish recording our new EP into this month. So I'll talk to our studio guy and tell him I want to do a couple voice drops too and stuff. So he, when we get done with all the recording, I can go back in the sound booth and he can awesome. Go ahead and throw on a couple of those.
Awesome.
And then when he sends me the music, send it to me.
Let's go back to the desk. That's right. Wow. It sounds loud, actually. You got a bit of a rumble going on back there. Sounds like wind. If you got a window open or something, you know.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean by that.
Yeah. There's a bit of a rumble going on, just coming through the headphones, if you know what I mean. I'm thinking now, hold on. I know it's not our equipment. And I know it's not any of the staff, because believe me, they're all sitting there with their mouths open right now. You know, we were talking about hot in here too, by the way. You know, a big contributor in this room is a lot of people are breathing. I think it would be a lot cooler if they weren't breathing.
Yeah, but there would be a lot less productivity.
Well, there's a good point. There really is a good point. And I see the boys in production right now are having a bit of a chuckle saying, yeah, Grant. Yeah. Do you want to know what their names are? There's literally two guys in production right now. One's called Toblerone and the other guy's called Gonzo. Right? Now, one has a Gonzo on his workbench. So we nicknamed him Gonzo, right? You remember the Muppets? Yep. The other one, The other one, Toblerone, well, he just likes chocolate.
My wife loves that type of chocolate, because my wife lived in Australia for 5 years, so.
Oh, I'm pleased she left. Australia and New Zealand, we have this friendly rival. It's much like Americans and Canadians with ice hockey, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. She explained it to me thoroughly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know something, it's a rugby thing for us, literally, and of course we've got the All Blacks, which is, you know, virtually the best in the world, and they haven't had any silverware now for about 38 years, so what can you say? You know what I mean? Go Australia! And in fact, we even beat them in soccer the other day too. We got the A Cup here too. Yeah, that's Australia for you. It happens. So I'm very, very happy for you, and I'm give your wife the best. Say, hey, listen, next time you ever decide to come to the Antipodes, come down this way. Be happy to show you guys around. You know what I mean? Show you what a real country's about, and if you ever go to Queenstown and we meet up down there, well, I'll just throw you off a bridge. No, we have a thing down there. A good friend of mine, Mr. Hackett, of course, he does bungee jumping down there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and not being Australian, we'll attach the
Never done that.
Oh, believe me, not being Australian, we'll attach the bungee for you.
Nah, that's not too reassuring.
Yeah, well, believe me, it is, because you're not Australian. You're okay. You're fine. Literally. What do you mean I'm Australian bashing? I'm being told that I'm Australian bashing. Do you know something? One of the famous things that they do over there in Australia is they have a thing called a boomerang, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that the Aborigines use it to catch wild food, literally, and it's a wonderful art form to be able to master. But I did say to one guy over there, what happens if it don't come back? He goes, well, what do you think happens? I says, well, you know, it's a piece of wood. He goes, yeah, if it don't come back, it's a stick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for firewood, literally. Travelling. And speaking of travelling, you guys are coming into summer very, very shortly, aren't you?
We are.
So,
We're about a month away, I think.
so have you got anything planned for festivals and gigs over the summer period?
We've got a couple ticketed shows that are local to our region, but then we'll also be in Pennsylvania in July for a event, Wheelchairs for Wolf, headlining that. But we've got a bunch of shows. We've got one coming up in June that's a ticketed event, that's considered like right outside of our hometown. And we've got an opener, Marshall's going to be opening for us there, and then we've got a few more events as well. Our schedule pretty booked. Locally wise, I think we dropped back this year to only doing about 35 or 40. North Carolina and Southern Virginia have been out of state, like Florida, Nashville, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and a few other locations.
Very, very cool. Now, I got a young lady, she's not too far away from you, actually. She's coming out of Charlotte, Carolina, and she's asking, by the way, her name is Diane. She's asking Scotty, as a fan, how do we get hold of you? Are you on Facebook? Are you on X? Are you a talker? But more importantly,
oh yeah,
do you respond?
We are. We're on all social medias, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You can find our music on all of those platforms. You can find our music on all streaming platforms and on multiple online radio platforms, as well as regional and local FM stations. You can look us up at stillwaterjunction.com, and you can find all information that you might need as far as if there's a certain streaming platform you want it to use. All the information's on there for you. All of our merchandise. We have our own full expansive online merchandise store, and we also have a drop ship coffee company that we have 48 different varieties with number 1 and number 2 ranked beans. All of our blends are named after musicians. And you can order that and it'll be on your front doorstep within 7 days after you order it. It's freshly roasted, ground the day you order it, and then shipped straight to you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm a big coffee fan. I am. I've got to be honest with you. But unfortunately, you just blew out of the water Travis's question, because Travis, coming out of Alabama, was saying, you know, do you have merch? Can he buy a t-shirt and a koozie and a cap and stuff like that? So well done for that. But I'm just going to say, now that I know that you got merch, how'd you like to send me a t-shirt? Maybe I can wear your brand while I do this. For some reason, it seems to attract people. I don't know how that happens, but while we're doing these interviews, and believe me, I've been told, you know, I was watching your show the other day and I see that you were wearing a t-shirt. I went on the interwebby and bought a couple of caps and a couple of koozies and a t-shirt. So maybe, just maybe, you might be able to send me one so that I can promote your brand. I would be very, very honoured. And if you want to throw some coffee, like all of it, in there as well, I'll take, you know, the whole package. I'm a big coffee fan.
Sure.
I really am. Brilliant. And I'll get Barbara. I'll get Barbara to send you all the details.
All right, that sounds great. Well, we were thinking about trying, trying to link up to release or something, but very expensive to do that. And I'm a coffee enthusiast, so I was like, well, how about we just launch our own coffee company instead? So that's literally how that came about.
You know, I love
Everybody
that.
likes coffee.
Yeah, I love that idea. I've even tried something that's passed through an animal once, so believe me, I'm game for anything. And you can even start a new brand. You might want to call it DJG Coffee or something like that. You never know. Might happen.
Yeah.
Might. Anyway, my friend, I think we've deviated because I was going to ask you about Travelling Band. Now, tell me about this track because it's one of the few tracks, and it doesn't happen often for me, but I've added it to my playlist in my car.
Nice. Well, it basically tells a story. It tells a little bit of my past. Um, uh, I wasn't always the nice guy that I am now, so it kind of tells a little bit of backstory on the lead singer, which is myself. It like the layout of who I used to be before I found music.
You know something? I'm waiting to be a nice guy. So I understand. I really, really do. You're right here at Galaxy, joined today by Scotty from the band Stillwater Junction. You're right here at Galaxy. Here's Travelling Band. Ah, dear, dear, dear. Oh, gosh. Really, really hot. So when we finish this, hang in there because I want to have a chat to you about, again, I want to put you into a friend of mine's magazine, or a friend of ours magazine. And
Okay.
they have, believe me, we only put the best of the best into this magazine. So it's I'd like to introduce you to Jay. Having said that, he's also our business partner at the moment too, because we're actually building a number of radio stations throughout India. And
Okay.
now, not only does Jay have this magazine, and really it's quite a fantastic magazine, but he does festivals. And we've gone over and hosted one of his festivals just a couple of years ago. And well, that was a ruse actually, because they got us over there. They headhunted us to do what we do here over there. Literally, they really did. And they said, "Look, I've been an engineer for years, right? And I've worked with some of the biggest and best bands in the world. And they said, come over, come and do the show for us, be an engineer." And it's like, no way. No, I don't want to do. Well, the thing, bro, is literally when you're there working, you've got your head down all the time. You never get to see a show, right?
Exactly.
And I sympathise for every engineer that loves his job, that never gets to see a show, but absolutely does a splendid job. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
So I said, no, I don't want to do that. And he goes, well, what do you want to do? I says, well, I'll come over and host it for you. Thinking, ha, yeah, nah. He goes, I'll get back to you in a couple of days. Well, a couple of days later, he gets back to me and says, all right, you're on. Come over and host it for us, you and Barbara. So we went to Trivandrum, India, and hosted this show. But I'll tell you later, that was just the ruse to get us into India. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Second night, I don't drink. Okay, I just don't drink. It's been a long time since I've had a drink. In fact, it's been about 11 years, right? Because Barbara and I used to get drunk on air together. We got told off for doing that. Not good for the image. Apparently, again, the image thing. But didn't really have a choice on the second day, and got taken to a place called the Beatles Cafe, which was owned by John Lennon back in the day. And
Nice.
got taken there, and we got on the alcohol, bit of beer, if you know what I mean. By the time I got on stage, I was so pissed I couldn't see my
falling
feet.
off to sleep.
It was, oh, God, what a disaster that was. Really was. But we were with have you ever heard of the band AC/DC?
Never heard of them whatsoever.
Okay, well, unfortunately, the founding member and first lead singer, Dave Evans, who happens to be a friend of Barbara's, very close friend of Barbara's too.
Nice.
He was
I love some AC/DC.
He was the headline act. He was, everybody seems to think that Bon Scott was the first lead singer of AC/DC. Well, he wasn't. He was the second.
No.
And
Exactly.
Dave currently is still one of the very few members of AC/DC still doing AC/DC. He really is.
Nice.
I think they've done a documentary with him and Angus, was
They're
it?
going to.
They're going to.
August.
In August.
Yes.
Oh, have I let the cat out of the bag?
Yeah.
Okay. Folks, watch this space. Dear oh dear. Still got 2 minutes. 2 minutes to go. Fair enough. Is the windows open?
Oh yeah, traveling band.
I'm sorry, I missed that one.
I said traveling band and a pretty long song.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. 6.5 minutes?
Yeah, we've got a minute 50.
Yeah.
Got a minute 50. With that space thing in the background, I'm almost about to say beam me up, Scotty, but I really don't want to go there.
Well, that's actually that's where my name came from, because when I was born, my brother, he's a few years older than me, he watched Star Trek, and that was his favorite character because of that phrase. So that's how my name came about.
Okay, well, here's something you might be interested in then. You remember William Shatner, Captain Kirk, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well, in the news this morning, I see that the new government, the new Prime Minister, he's had Shatner recall all of his lingerie out of the stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently Shatner Panties isn't a good name. I don't know, I think it's quite weird. I like it.
Hey.
How many countries are tuned in?
169.
169 countries. That's not bad.
That's really good.
That's not bad. How many cities?
7,843.
7,843 cities around the world tuned in listening to you.
Nice.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today we're talking to Scott, of course, from Stillwater Junction, and believe me, I got to ask you, Scotty, how long have you been performing? How long have you been singing?
I started singing when I was 14. I didn't go professional until I turned 40, so 4 years.
Oh, okay, so you're a late bloomer, but believe me, I wouldn't have picked it. I would have thought that you've been doing it since, Moses was around, like I
have. Is it the beard? Did the beard give it away?
Well, as I say, that's why I'm going to India. I blend in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Look, believe me, I come from a town that has one traffic light. I really, really do. And, well, being one of the very few people, I think you can get, about both of us on one hand in this town that has a beard like this. I sort of stand out. But, go to India, bang, you're invisible.
That is true. That is true.
Yep, absolutely. Believe me, I've been watching the videos on the interweb. There's some very interesting stuff. There really is. But one guy, he does about every city he just walks through for about a number of hours. It just goes on and on and on. Virtually no talking, anything like that, but there's nothing but, traffic and people and markets, and, he just gives you the down to earth. He's not selling anything. He's just letting you know what it's really, really like. It's like Mumbai,
Yeah.
of course, with the slums and everything like that. And on the other hand, the more affluent side of it, the whole thing, he just walks all the way through it. You know what I mean? And believe me, very, very interesting, especially if you're going to be looking at making your residences in one of these cities. And our very first one is going to be opening up in, well, believe me, Bangalore. It's classed as the Silicon Valley of India, literally. So that's where we're basing our head office right now. So believe me, and this guy's done a video through there. It's fascinating. I know just what to expect and where to go and where not to go. You know what I mean? Some places there.
That could be very insightful.
Yeah, well, it is for a guy that's, well, India was never on my bucket list. I got to be honest with you. It never has been up until a couple of years ago, when I say we were, misled to go to India and do a show. We did actually do the shows all 3 nights. We really did. But believe me, that really wasn't why we were there. A few whiskies, well, yeah. Believe me, there was some of that, and there was lots of beer and everything for a guy that doesn't drink. That's immense. And then throw him out on stage in front of 10,000 people. Don't worry about it. He'll be fine. And expect me to do something. Yeah, well, I did. In fact, I racked up the crowd so much that the band I was introducing, I'd say racked up, the guy ended up climbing up the rafters. He was so fired up on it. I'm sitting there going, did I do okay? She goes, look at that crowd. It's like, oh my good. They're still there then, they haven't run away, which was a bonus. Literally, so believe me, what sort of whiskey do you like?
Actually, I prefer moonshine.
Good on you. Good on you.
I'm not really a dark whiskey drinker. If it's not moonshine, then I like rum.
Okay, fair enough. Unfortunately, I've had some very messy times on rum, so yeah. I'll go with the well, actually, I don't know whether I should go with the moonshine either. I've had an experience. I have. I told him about it. Ended up on the floor. But, yeah, believe me.
Just, hey, sip, don't go.
When you've got somebody with a mason jar going like this, what do you do with a little thing like that? You man up, away you go, down the hatch. Wake me up in 3 days' time.
That person had years of training.
She did. She really, really did. That I will give her. I really, really will. And believe me, we absolutely love her. We really do. We even love Roger and his highly polished balls, which is another story altogether. Oh, sorry. He collects baseballs. Okay. And yeah, they're in little glass cases and everything, highly decorated. He collects baseballs. I think she collects animals. Yeah, cats and dogs and stuff like that. I really do. But she also collects Josie awards, which is amazing. She really, really does. So great. I should introduce you. Maybe you could be whiskey friends. You never know. Now, I think that's a damn good segue.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me about whiskey friends.
Whiskey friends. Well, it says it all in the name. It's a song. It's a different take on a country song. Country songs talk about, your dog ran away, your woman cheated on you or left you, all them types of songs. Well, take on a country song. It's basically saying, the woman left me, but I got all the friends I need, in this bar. All of my whiskey friends. So it's basically a different heartbreak song.
You know, I'm still waiting for somebody to start bringing out a song about the electric car that ran away with the wife and left the tailgate behind. It's going to happen one day. You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, joined by Scotty today, out of the band Stillwater Junction. Loving this. Here's Whiskey Friends. How you feeling, Scott? You okay?
Good.
Nice. The stat you really want is the one at the end of this, because we don't know how many people are listening. We really don't, to be very honest with you. We don't. There could be one, or there could be 10, or it could be a whole warehouse full. All we know is the IP addresses of the devices that hook into us. You know what I mean? So I can give you the number of those at the end of this, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I really do. Damn, it's hot.
Windows
It is. Windows open? Look,
Next thing you'll be
when
saying,
we
"Dang,
first
it's
moved into this
cold."
building, Scott, the boss has come to me and says, it's coming into summertime. Do you want a fan? I went, yeah. What sort would you like? You know, what sort would you like? And he says, oh, I don't know, something about, 6 foot, 6'2", blonde, blue-eyed, about 18, comes from Sweden, Norway. You like my England? They got me a gold ear. The sales pitch was, this one oscillates. I personally, I think the wife had something to do with that. Because there was a couple on the board that actually thought the idea of somebody from Sweden was a very good idea for a fan, you know. They even said, can I borrow her in the weekends? Dear. I used to do stand-up comedy, so I apologise. I really, really do.
I would have never thought that.
I understand that. I do.
You could have watched it around here.
I used to, I was working with a band that toured the world for about 36 months, and it came to a rather abrupt end. But one time we were in Texas, in Austin, Texas, and we went along to this club where, after we did a show, they were doing line dancing and stuff like that, right? So we hop on the plane the next day and we head to Amsterdam, and we're doing a show in Amsterdam in a couple of days. So, and we had valets. Valets would, every 10 of us, they would look after 10 of us and get us everything we wanted. It didn't matter what it was, they would get it for us. Don't you go and get it for yourself. You know what I mean? And we were having this time out on these floating barges that were selling all sorts of illegal drugs. Well, it was, you could buy it as a soup or as whatever, and you could buy rolled up cigarettes and all of that, right? And as these guys were all having fun and forgetting who the hell's with whom, I buggered off. Literally, I made an escape and went running across this really, really cool foyer area, big area, big church and everything like that. Disappeared, literally. Yeah. And I saw this red door, and I thought, I'm just going to have a look at this red door. And as it opened, there was a stairwell, and it went right up, and at the top of the stairwell, it said country dancing. Now, we'd just come from Austin, so I thought, let's go and get a boot scooting on. I'll show them how the Americans do it, seeing I've learned, right? And I walk in there, and I'm not kidding, there must have been about 300 people, all in brightly coloured clothing, with wooden shoes on, dancing on highly polished floors, what I thought was going to be a catastrophe, right? It's in the making. And this chick, this young girl, she must have been about 18 years of age, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, comes up and goes, do you clog? I'm a Kiwi, I says, only if I eat too much cheese. Ah, Scotty, believe me, the staff here are going, I don't believe you said that joke. And It is a true story, though. It really, really is. Now, this is literally the last track that we have for you today, my friend. It really, really is. But let me tell you, it's your most requested track. You're way up there at 2,291 requests for this. And I'm wondering what makes it so successful. Why is Country Rock Revival Show your most requested track?
Well, I guess because it resembles how music used to be back in the 70s, sound wise, and so it's kind of I guess it's a nostalgia, to people, because it sounds like something that you would have heard back in the 70s, but it's modern. So I guess that's why that's our number one requested one most of the time. But that song actually was originally released by an independent musician named James Vincent Carroll, and he's part of our music family. And me and him got to talking one day, and he was like, "Hey, would you be interested in taking some of my songs, rewriting them a little bit, and putting your spin on it?" And I'm like, "Sure." The original version, if people would like to look it up, his name is James Vincent Carroll, and the original version is called Rock and Roll Revival Show. And the words are a little bit different. Of course, I put my twist on it because we're considered outlaw country rock. I guess it's the nostalgia sound, how it sounds like old country rock, old rock and roll, like from back in like mid to late 70s. So I guess that's to be our number one request.
Very, very cool. Well, I tell you what, it is your number one track here at Galaxy. It really is. Here's Stillwater Junction and Country Rock Revival Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome.
Gosh. Here it really is hot in here. We'll wrap this up, but believe me, we'll take a few pickies, my friend, and Barbara's going to put it all together in a movie for you, and she'll send you the
Right.
You'll probably get the movie tomorrow at some stage, because she's very, very pedantic about making it right, if you know what I mean. But I do have to ask you,
Understandable.
have you ever been a cartoon before?
I have not.
Yeah, you might be now, unfortunately, believe me.
I'll make a few of
she
you.
makes a few of me. She makes fun of me, and she loves making fun of me. Now, truth be told, Barbara and I were at a lawyers' meeting a couple of years ago in Rotorua, which is about an hour away from where we are here. It's a bigger city, right? And we'd come out of the lawyer's office, and I'd gone to the car park, and I looked up and I saw a supermarket, and I says to Barbara, "Bear with me, I'll just go and get some supplies for the wife tonight. I'll be about 10 minutes. So I went and did some quick shopping, and I'm standing in this line where the checkout is, and there's this old lady getting all her canned goods and everything scanned through, and she's staring at me. And it's sort of like, you know how you look at somebody and hello, and again, hello, It got to a point where,
Yeah.
what's up? It got to that point where, I'm just going to say, what the, and she looks at me very, very cross, and she goes,
Yeah.
"You look nothing like your cartoon." I went, how random is that? I'm in a strange city, in a strange supermarket that I haven't been in before, and I says, "How do you know me?" She goes, "Oh, my daughter watches you. She follows you." I said, "I'll try to look like my cartoon more often." But this is something Barbara started a number of years ago, just make fun of me, and it sort of caught on. It really did. And oh, by the way,
I mean, hey, to each their own. Look, if they're not picking on us, then they don't love us.
Absolutely, I'm right there with you. And by the way, around here, coffee is the third food group. Really is. Honestly, I get to work about
I'm a
9:30
tea
at night,
drinker.
and I have to go past reception, right? And Sarah, my receptionist, she has 3 USB devices, removable devices for me. One is basically stats on how we went for the day, everything like that. The next one is important emails, reminders to pay wages, all that sort of stuff, you know, the boring stuff. And the next one is literally noise. And that one is all of the people that have got in touch with us through the period of time that she's been working, asking for an artist and a track, if you know what I mean. And I take that into production about 1:30 in the morning, whip that into our computer, let the computer do its magic, if you know what I mean, and before you know it, we've got a breakfast show. And bro, I know there's going to be more people asking you for your music tomorrow again. I really do. So thank you for being a part of our show.
Yeah.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and you will note that I didn't ask, you know, what's your influences. Of course, I've got these here, you know, Leonard Skinner, Marshall Tucker, Johnny Cash, you know, absolutely, you can hear it, can't you? You really can. Now, what I am going to ask you, Scotty, is anything in the can? Have you got anything coming out in the near future? Maybe you might want to pass our way?
Yeah, we go back into the recording studio the end of this month, and our EP for our next album will be coming out somewhere around August, probably.
Brilliant. Will you toss some work down our way, because we'd be very, very honoured to continue the relationship, play your music, and looking forward to the voice drop too, by the way. But one last question for you. Really serious one too, by the way. Will you come back and do another interview?
Yes, definitely. I enjoyed myself.
Very cool. And if you do need, by any chance, a psychologist, I can put you onto one.
That's okay. I have my wife. My wife has a 4-year psychology degree.
Even better, even better. Believe me, just show her the interview. She'll understand 110%. And she'll go straight to work. She really will go straight to work. You need healing, and now. Yeah, I get it, I really do. So, Scotty, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and learning a bit about not only yourself, but your band and all your music. Thank you very, very much. But please, don't go anywhere just yet. Well, I've got a little conversation I want to have with you and tell you how we can introduce you to Jay and the boys out of Lazy Indie Magazine. Believe me, you're going to love this. You really will. But in the meantime, folks, thank you for joining us. Why not join myself and Barbara after 5 in the morning on The Breakfast Show? Believe me, we're there until 10. And 110% Galaxy artists, the best in the world. I guarantee you that. So, have a great day, everybody. Happy radio from me.